You're listening to
Catholic Sprouts,
the daily podcast for Catholic kids that strives to plant seeds of faith. Hey there, Sprouts. Today is Thursday, January 7th, 2020. Now, all week we have been talking about the domestic church. We've talked about the roles of mothers, fathers, and children. But today I want to talk about what actually happens in a domestic church. Now, like I said, every family is called to be a domestic church. So whether you live in a house, an apartment, you live with another family, you live in a camper, wherever you happen to live, that is where the events of your domestic church take place. So the first thing I want you to know is that we call a family a domestic church for a reason, because our church, capital C, when we go to the Mass, what do we experience? We experience the liturgy. We experience the liturgy of the Word, where we hear Scripture, and the liturgy of the Eucharist, where bread and wine, through the power of God, become the true presence of Jesus Christ. So we encounter God, we have a deep and intimate connection with God, and the liturgy takes place so that the effects of sin that we all commit, that God can come and bring his love into that space. Remember, we live in a domestic church. Now, this is the church with a little c, but still within this space, the church tells us that a liturgy takes place. The life that you live at home with your siblings and parents is a liturgy. Now, what does this mean? Well, remember, a liturgy is simply the specific work of the church, that means the people of the church, that works to heal the damage of sin. Liturgy is also something that God himself has instituted. Remember, Jesus Christ instituted the Eucharist at the Last Supper, but before that, Jesus Christ spent 92% of his life in a family, hidden away in Nazareth, doing the boring, ordinary things that you do, like chores and learning and work. He lived 92% of his life there. So everything that you do in your family was instituted by Jesus Christ. And of course, God himself created your family. Way back in the garden, he made Adam and Eve and told them to be fruitful and multiply, to have a family. So God created the concept of family, and Jesus Christ blessed the ordinary life of family life by living it himself. So the family is important. Family life is also a liturgy because it conveys God's love and blessing. Now, there are a couple of ways that the church talks about the family. The church describes the family as the school of love. The school of love. Now, chances are you go to a school or you're homeschooled and you have a whole bunch of schoolwork in your life. But where do we learn the most important lessons of life? How to love someone, how to sacrifice for them, and most difficult of all, how to forgive someone, and how to forgive someone over and over again when they hurt you again. We learn all of these lessons in a family. We watch our parents make sacrifices for us, help us when they're crabby or tired, make food for us even when we complain. We watch them love with a sacrificial and unending love. And it is only when we see these things and experience these things that we are able to grow up and do them ourselves. So remember, the liturgy, something instituted by God and something that brings us closer to the very love, the very life of God. Just like when we are at Mass, we encounter the true presence of Jesus. We experience his love, the love that made that sacrifice on the cross possible, that love that brings Jesus' true presence to us in the Mass. We experience that in the liturgy of the Eucharist, in the liturgy of the home, our life with the family God created. We experience God's love in a quieter, in a slower way, but is that constant love, that constant forgiveness that we have to practice with our family, because we truly learn how to love and how to forgive when we are at home. Now, I know that might seem pretty ordinary. Yeah, I learn how to love and forgive at home, but that's not ordinary. This is God's plan. God intended us to learn these most important lessons at home with our family in our domestic church. And the truth is that we can all do a little bit better. And the first thing that we need to do is we need to value our time together as a family. And so, Sprouts, my challenge for you today is to say no today. Say no to one form of distraction. One form of distraction that, although you're home and with your family members, you're not really present with them because you're playing a video game or watching something on TV or whatever it might be, but you are with them, but not really with them, because distraction takes away from this school of love that we are all enrolled in. It is only when we are living with each other, speaking to each other, being really with each other, that God is able to really form us into a domestic church and teach us love and forgiveness. So again, your challenge just once today, say no to one form of distraction and instead be fully with your family. That's it for Catholic Sprouts today. We'll be back tomorrow, but until then, continue to grow in your faith and truly sprout into the beautiful creation that God created you to be. Just one more thing. Our brand new app, the Domestic Church Project app, is available right now. We are enrolling families to go through the Domestic Church Project Boot Camp through January 6th at midnight. So if you would like to be part of this incredible experience that has already transformed families and given them the real blueprint that any family can use to build their domestic church, please join us. You can find more at domesticchurchproject.com. If you missed this enrollment window or this simply wasn't quite the right moment for your family, please know that we will be opening the doors back up for the boot camp right around Ash Wednesday, so you can join us at that time.